In this video, I'm going to talk about what's arguably the most important lesson that the teachers here at IMI can teach you. To do it, I'm going to talk about our blues heroes and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's right, you heard me, Bill and Ted. You might be asking, how are you going to connect Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure to the blues? Well, stay tuned to get your mind blown. What's up, guys? This is Mike from Imagine Music Instruction. Just wanted to give a little perspective, send a little love and perspective your way in these times right now. I think everybody needs to know that somebody's got their back. And the teachers here at Imagine Music Instruction, we have a plan. We always have a plan, but as you can see, we've already moved online. And most of the students are on the online train right now. Everybody's kind of started to get on board. And there are just a few that are still this week, starting their first log on with online. Every teacher has reached out, so make sure you talk to your teacher. I know that everyone's doing this right now with the school systems, and we've all made this switch right now, so it's fairly straightforward with a lot of this kind of stuff. But I did want to make this video as part of that as well, just so that you guys have the right perspective going into everything, so that you can really supercharge your music in this time when we need music to be around. So let's get right to it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what that most important lesson is here in a minute. Let's start with our blues heroes. So some of our favorite heroes of the blues, the ones who created that, really rock and roll was created through these blues heroes. It was because of what they did. It was because of the passion, the kinds of music, what they started. Our favorite blues heroes were doing their thing, and many of them could not afford a guitar. There might not have even been a guitar available. They had to search around and sit and try to get the money together, and in whatever it was. And many of them were slaves, so they couldn't even, they weren't able to buy guitars and things like that. And when we think about, especially many of our students take guitar, and this applies to all instruments though. But for some of our guitar students, you start to think about just how cool the guitar is. And I think that is what, they were inspired. People were inspired. And what they did was they had the determination inside. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to find a way to be able to, and they would ask anyone who knew, can you please tell me what, about music, and they would pick up little pieces of information, and maybe they could play on the guitar that somebody had, and here and there. I mean, it's when you start thinking about this stuff, just this inspires me when I start to talk about it and think about it, because there's a passion and there's a drive and a determination I'm gonna figure this out. I love this so much. I want to know about music. So the heroes in our lives, in whatever respect, whatever fashion, those are the people that, we go to the movies and we see somebody who there's a hero in the movie, and people, they respond to the idea of the hero. That's something that's so important in our lives. We're always talking about our heroes and all that kind of stuff. So that's what this is about. It's knowing that somebody else went through certain things, and that the takeaway, the most important lesson, is that every person in their musical journey, every musician, anyone who's practicing, has a speed bump, has some kind of speed bump along the way. And it's how you respond to the adversity. Sometimes it's situational, it's on the outside, and you can't do something about it, but it's just how you respond to it. And then sometimes it's things on the inside, finding the patience, all those types of things. So it's a common thing for every person. And when those things come, those are the times that we can look at what has happened before, and we can understand, okay, this is my opportunity, and this is my chance, because that's what we all go through, and we have to figure out, okay, what do I do? So we just talked about the movies, right? We talked about heroes in the movies. Well, that brings us to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. We're finally here. You guys were waiting. Okay, when is he going to get to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? So if you remember in this movie, there's a scene, there's all kinds of interesting scenes in this movie, but there's a scene where they go to the past and they bring one of the famous classical composers uh, back to the present time. I'm pretty sure that it was Wolfgang Amadeus. But they bring him back to the present time and they slap some headphones. I think he's in a CD store or something like that. And they slap some headphones on him and he's listening to rock music. And his talk about your mind getting blown, his mind is blown. So he goes, he doesn't even know what to do. And what that tells us is we have so much at our fingertips nowadays. The classical composers, they couldn't listen to any kind of music, but we can go on Spotify, we can go on Apple Music, we can go on YouTube, listen to any kind of music we want. We can purchase any kind of music that we want. We've got African music, we've got hip hop music, we've got metal, we've got progressive rock, we've got blues, we've got old music from hundreds of years ago that you can buy, choral music. We've got techno and trance, and I mean, we just have any kind of music that you can think of. And then you got mashups, and then you've got, you know, all these things on YouTube. It's just there's more than you can explore. Imagine how those classical composers would have felt if they could just go on and explore. They composed these amazing pieces that still stand up today, that are heralded as brilliant works of art in classical music. Yet they didn't have all these tools that we have. The blues players, they didn't have the guitar as a tool right away. They didn't have the instruction right away, yet they still created these things. So there's human ingenuity that can take place on whatever level, whether it's in your bedroom, whether it's out in the world, whether it's in a movie with Keanu Reeves. I don't know, you guys. I mean, but that's why it transcends. That's why it moves from blues to Bill and Ted, and that's why this makes a lot of sense. So I wanted to drop a perspective bomb on you guys, and I think it's really important because when you are going in there and you're practicing, you're doing your 10-minute warm-up, getting ready for your online lesson, you know, it's all about the inspiration. And so what we need is we need the fuel and inspiration to go on our musical adventure. Anytime you're learning anything, it's discovery. Anything that you're learning, it's all about the discovery. So that's why we're on an adventure, and we really are, each one of us is the hero of our own story. Be the hero of your own story when you're doing this, but in that process, you have to find the fuel. You have to find the tools, the technique. So that's why this technique right here, doing that warm-up, that pre-warm-up before your lesson, you'll do better in the lesson, and that will give you that fuel, that motivation where you go, oh my gosh, this is something that it's something a lot of people don't do, that I've talked with a lot of my students about. But there are so many little hacks and tips. That's why the teachers can really help guide you. So when you're going along the way, you need certain kinds of inspiration. You need sometimes guidance, and we're going to get to that. That's what we can do to help you to go, okay, wow, I'm unlocking the potential, my potential as a hero in this progression, in you know, what I'm capable of. That's why we love the heroes, like I was saying. So what can our inspiration be? Well, we can listen to some of our favorite songs. We can go, all right, you know, and we put that on. We have a little bit more time. We're not having to drive around as much. There aren't as many assignments for the kids. There aren't as many things to do for the adults in general, just as a generality. And even if there is a lot going on, these tools apply for how to make the most of those, you know, those select few minutes. Because if you want to accomplish something, just like those blues guys did, they figured out how to do it. They figured out what they need. They're our teachers. And so, you know, the lesson that they give that echoes through time is the one that we here need to give to you guys as guides. So listen to music, get inspired, and then do your 10 minutes. Now, on to Indiana Jones. You might be saying, okay, he's giving me a little bit of Indiana Jones. I don't know what's going on here. How is it going to go from Bill and Ted to Indiana Jones? But it's all going to connect. So stay with me here and watch to the end. In the story of Indiana Jones, he goes on his quest. He goes on his trek, and he needs to find the right people to help him to code a map, or to figure out whatever the code is for something. He needs the person when he needs to climb the mountain. He needs that guide who knows that area, who knows exactly what to do. And so this is really important, you guys. When you're looking for the guide, the person who's helping you, they need to know what that you might encounter. You can know all this stuff that I'm telling you, but if you don't have the person who's going to help you to navigate the things that you might encounter, it'll be a bit harder. If you think about those movies, a lot of times when they're going up the mountain, there's one guy who's there and goes, "I don't need you guys," right? We've all seen those movies where he goes, "I'm going to get there my own way. I'm going this way." It's one of those kind of Jurassic Park type movies or whatever. And they go, "No, we have to do this." And he goes, "No, you guys, I'm going over here." And what usually happens with that guy? He's usually the guy who gets eaten by, the monster who comes and gobbles him up. We've seen that or maybe he gets sent back home. But I think it's when we look at a movie that's larger than life and that's fun and that's an adventure story that we liked and that we might have loved as kids. In that simple story, it tells us the things that we need to know about some of these things, and we can really take this because it is simple as we're going forward. So basically, the people that we encounter on our trek will help us to unlock what's possible within us, and they're not telling us, but they're empowering us. So when we want to unlock that potential, we do need the map, though. And that's where the teacher helps you at every stage and says, "Okay, here's what you need to do. And here's what we can do in order to really help you to maximize this." So they're able to tune things to you, what you need, because every hero is a little bit different. Which brings me to the Lord of the Rings. In the Lord of the Rings, Frodo is an unlikely hero. He's a different kind of hero. And that's what it's all about, is each person is going to learn things a slightly different way and go down a different path and think about things a different way and all that kind of stuff. And in the story of Lord of the Rings, there's a parallel. He went on his journey and he found companions, right? So that's why I like the word guide. I throw that out there because it's my role to give you the best information that I can. And guide is a good word, because that guide is serving you. And if you talk about companion too, a companion is someone who you're finding the right people who are gonna support you. And it's not always the right people. It's also, along with that, the right tools, the right information. Being able to sift through everything online, being able to sift through, what are, there's things at my fingertips, but what are my best practices? And that's what this next video, the one that's linked down below in the description, that's what that's going to give you. It's going to give you the best things that you can do, a start for kind of ground level. What are you going to do? How do you make the most out of this time? It's stuff you may have heard before with some of your teachers. You might be nodding and watching the video and going, "Okay, yeah, I think I've heard that before." But I think it's really important to get that perspective, that dose of perspective is very important, because it can really go the distance. They say that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and it's all about knowing the right information and understanding it. And so that's why I want to present this to you, but it's about you having that determination, back to what we said at the beginning of the video. You finding that determination, that's the lesson. That's the lesson that I'm conveying here, is that find that perspective, find that determination, and then start to use the right tools, the right strategies, and start to be empowered and embrace all of the things along the journey that are going to help you in your quest. When you're doing this, when you're discovering, it really is the discovery. For the kids that are going to school, their teachers want them to discover and think about the history, that's come before, the history of stuff that happened, and they want them to really understand a lot of this kind of stuff. So that's where, for me, it's a passion being a teacher, being able to, we're all kind of working in these ways. And what the beautiful thing about music lessons for me is it's kind of our own space and time to be able to work on all this kind of stuff. So there's a famous quote, which is, the journey of 10,000 miles starts with a single step. And that's what I really want to leave you with, that, I can get, I can give you this fuel today. I can help you to get excited. That's what we need. We need to watch that movie and sit back and go, wow, that was an amazing movie. Even something like The Lion King, that was an amazing movie. There's just something in there that we go, wow, I'm thinking about something. I feel a little inspired, whatever movie it is, something that kind of taps into the things that we want to do and that we want to excel with, and the examples that were given to us. So, you can have that and you can eat the popcorn, but then there's the chance to go, okay, I'm going to spend 10 minutes. I'm going to work on what I'm doing. Then I'm going to log on right before my lesson. Boom. We're going to go over this stuff. I think all of us deserve those types of things in our lives. All of us deserve that chance to, take these great lessons, the things that inspire us, and, and to move forward in our own journey, in our own path as a discoverer of knowledge, a troubadour, and an ancient archaeologist of music. Anyway, I get excited because it's just fun. It's fun, and that's what it's all about. There is the fun. So sometimes life teaches us things. There's sort of real lessons that when things get a little real, then that's when this kind of stuff comes out. And we can use that because that's what life is. And those types of things will help us. Storytellers have wanted to put them in movies, and we're always trying to, make a better place and, do something that's positive. So go on that journey, take that step, and allow your teachers to also, help you one step at a time as you're building it, as you're, going along and figuring out what you need. There's always things that can be done. Your teachers know these hacks, so ask them about these hacks. Ask them about, this and that and the other thing, because like I was saying before, the more you put into it, if you put that little bit of, that pocket of time in there, I like that word as well, pocket of time, that, you're always putting in, before you know it, that comes back, and you can start to benefit from that. So, talk to your teachers about these things. They're going to be able to give you this insight so that, you stay inspired, so that you know how to, just like Frodo, keep that ring and keep going. He needed the people around him. He needed his companions. And so I like thinking about it in terms of a guide or a companion. A companion is great because it's all about what you can do. So stay with everything. Make sure to click subscribe on our channel. We're going to have some tips coming out, some things going on right now, because we just want everyone to kind of have this stuff circulating, thinking about what's important. A little bit of extra information is always good. So make sure you subscribe. Click the link below for the 5 tips to effective practice at home, and I'll catch you on the flip side.